So I threw my head back, and I was like, in my head, like, if I'm gonna die, at least people gonna find me peaceful, right? Like I want to be laying down. Somebody find me. So I threw my head back, and I thought I was dead. I gave up on life, and I woke up the next morning. And I was just like myself, like, yo, is this real? Like, am I really alive right now? And I looked up and like, yo, I don't know if there's God, I don't know who is around, but somebody looking over me, and I need to get up out of this situation, like, right now.
And we are back. Take two. This Side of Jersey podcast, the #1 podcast in the world.
Self-appointed. It's the gang.
Self-appointed. I am one of your amazing hosts. My name is Steven. I go by Ugly Steven on Instagram.
Sure, I Robinson 03 _ all platforms.
This your boy B's on everything, man.
And we got Korean Tay _ behind the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, we have such an episode.
Yes, we do.
We have such an episode. Oh, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And we are also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can stream us there. This guest that we have today has quite the story, quite the timeline to becoming the entrepreneur that he has become. But before we get into that, we have to get into our layup lines. So for those who do not know, layup lines is a segment where we like to get our guests loose, right? Get the creative juices flowing so that they're having some fun before they go into the questions. Your job is simply to answer these questions as fast as possible. You have 24 seconds. Contestant, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready to go. Let's do it.
We got 24 on the shot clock, aye?
Indeed.
Tell me when to go.
You ready?
Florida or Cali?
Cali.
Boarding school or public school?
Boarding school.
Jersey or Cali?
Cali.
EKC or Patillos?
Pasilio.
The grind or the reward after the grind?
The grind.
Open the store early or close later?
Close later.
Linda's or Paradise?
Linda's.
Long Beach or LA?
Long Beach all day.
Braids or your hair let down?
Braids.
That is all. That is all. Very well done, sir.
Yeah, that was quick.
Very well done, sir.
Smooth little T-Mac joint. What's that, like 24 seconds?
Yeah, maybe I gotta get more questions though. I feel like I don't like people getting their shots off. You know what I mean? I feel like we gotta put more.
Yeah, he ain't do no stumbles, no nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like when they start going through them, it's like, of course they're gonna beat the time.
He held the last
Yeah.
goal just to make us feel better. All right, right before the shot clock.
Yeah, right. All right, y'all, man. So as I've said before, man, this guy, we know him first as a friend, obviously a long-time friend, talking 20 plus maybe in years. However, professionally, he is an entrepreneur, and he is the current business owner of the Bodega 856 in Pennsauken, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Rivera is here on the pod.
Appreciate you.
How you living, sir?
Good. Living.
Appreciate you being here. Yeah, we was trying to get you here for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, let's start at the top. So tell everybody where you're from. Let's start where the story begins.
I'm from Pennsauken, New Jersey.
Thank you very much.
Proudly.
Yes, sir. I
I love
was born
people
in
say Pennsauken.
Voorhees, but I grew up in Pennsauken my whole life.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
sir.
So, we actually had someone from Pennsauken yesterday that we were interviewing, and I asked this question, and I want to ask it to you too, because it was kind of like a little. It's interesting to see what other people think of Pennsauken because it's such a like people will have different views on what they describe it as.
Yeah.
So when you think of Pennsauken, what's the first thing that comes to mind, and how would you describe it to someone who has never heard of it?
Real.
Real.
Real. Yeah. So you can't really just say anything when you're in Pennsauken. But once I want to describe it as like somewhere where people are really talented and very smart. That's one thing. Nobody like lets things go. You know what I mean? You can't just go around saying whatever you want, however you want to say it. You got to come correct. If you're talking about business, if you're talking about, you know what I mean, anything, sports, doesn't matter what. People are very direct when it comes when it comes to things in Pennsauken. Like not a lot of beating around the bush. If you want, you know what I mean. So that's why I love it. It's real. Like everywhere I've been, I haven't really come across a place where people are fully just as real as everybody is in Pennsauken or in Jersey, as far as it goes, or like letting you know how they feel. You know what I mean? Like there's no secrets. Type. Yeah.
And because of that, do you feel like relationships are more genuine?
Yeah, for sure. Like if somebody doesn't like you, you know.
Word.
Right? If somebody does like you, they express that thoroughly. You know what I mean? It's like a no in the middle type of thing, and that's why I love it. Yeah.
Don't talk. We're going to get to you and where you've migrated to, but I just want to quickly say that I was having the conversation the other day about like relationship building on the West Coast versus the East Coast. And they were saying that like they would rather have their relationships built on the East Coast for foundational purposes, because they were like, and we were particularly talking about LA, and they were saying like everyone has an agenda in LA, so like nothing, you can't really tell what's real and what's not, because everyone has an individual like thing that they're trying to get.
Okay.
Versus on the East Coast, like there's less of that, and people are more like.
I think it depends on what time or when you go over there. Like as a young kid, when I did go over there, I was young, so people I did meet didn't have an agenda because everybody's young.
Yeah.
Whereas an adult, now, yeah, everybody has an agenda. Everybody needs to know what you're doing, who you know. And that's the question that comes out. But yeah, that's LA. That's not Pennsauken. Yeah.
Word.
I mean, they kind of piggyback off that. Like, what age did you move out to like the West Coast and everything, or were you born out there and did you come to the East Coast, or was it like vice versa?
No, I'm from here.
No, he's born in Jersey.
Yeah, I'm born in Jersey. I'm from here thoroughly. But I moved out there when I was 17 years old. I was 17 by myself, and that's what I mean. Like the relationships I built when I was 17 are different than the relationships I would build at 27, because everybody's more established in life, and I was still a senior in high school, so people weren't taking like that serious.
And let's backtrack. Let's backtrack first, because you grew up in Pennsauken. You grew up in Jersey, in Pennsauken.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
At what age did you leave, and why did you leave? Because you didn't go right to Cali, right? You went.
No.
Yeah.
So, grew up in Jersey and then played baseball. I played baseball my whole life until I got to college. But when I was young, I was decent at baseball, and I ended up going to a baseball tournament in Florida. I got flown down to Florida, played in the tournament, and it was crazy because my first at bat of the tournament, I got picked up from the airport, drove right to the tournament. My first at bat, hit a home run, and it was just like a wild.
That's surreal.
Wild thing. Like, and it didn't even go outside the park. I didn't hit it over the fence. Like I hit it, and I ran so fast around the bases that it just couldn't get me out. And then the rest of the tournament went really well for me.
Inside the park, home, or
That's crazy.
Yeah. The team that I was playing for, the coach was actually really good friends, and his kids are actually currently going to Montverde Academy. And so after the tournament, he tried to recruit me to Montverde, but we were living in Florida. I mean, we were living in Jersey. So it was like kind of hard for us to imagine that happening, like us picking up. But after the conversation got started with that guy, we decided like it probably would be best. Well, my parents decided it'd probably be best to move to Florida for the sports year round. And I was kind of getting into like the way I was going in Jersey, like the stuff I was getting into at a young age. It was probably smarter to get me, especially, out of the environment, because I was only going to go down one path, it seemed like. So, I mean, props to them for seeing it at an early age and getting me out of there, because I was being able to focus on baseball rather than the other things that were going on. And I'm sure you guys went to middle school with me too, so you guys know what's going on. But yeah, it's just, you know what I mean? So we got out of there, and it's crazy because when we first moved to Florida, we didn't even go to Montverde. My family's real religious, so my dad wanted us to go to a Catholic school, but the only Catholic school in the area that we could find was called Bishop Moore, right? And Bishop Moore is where I met my current girlfriend, Pamela, now. She runs the business with me now.
Shout out, Pam.
Shout out, Pam. I met her when I went to Bishop Moore, but so that same summer I did a tryout for Bishop Moore baseball. They liked me a lot. They wanted me to come down there and play on their varsity team. And then they wanted my brother, who was older than me, to also come down, and my little brother to come. So we had this set up going to Bishop Moore, and they had told us about helping us out with financial aid. The price of the school was kind of outrageous, so they try to make it work. So
can you give us an idea of what outrageous is? Because when you told me this off camera before, I was like, that is
let's Google it right
nuts.
now, so we're not just making up the numbers.
Yeah, he told me the price of these schools, bro.
So let's see the tuition for Bishop tuition.
And these are high schools.
Yeah,
These are high schools.
Exactly. High schools.
Orlando, Florida.
The cost of Montverde is the cost of rowing. Bro, like,
so Bishop Moore tuition. So Bishop Moore tuition for a Catholic, it's $13,506 a year, and non-Catholic is $18,000 a year.
if you're not Catholic,
That
you
was
have
the
to pay
first
more money.
So they convinced us to go there, and the what's athletic director, AD. He was really into us, and he wanted to go there and told us they're going to help us out with the payments and whatnot. So 2 weeks, maybe a month into it, the real conversation was supposed to be had, and it come down to they weren't even helping us out at all, and they wanted us to come out of pocket for this. While Montverde had offered us the same deal, but it wasn't a Catholic school, so my dad wasn't really biting on it. So he wanted us to stay in the Catholic school. But when he seen the numbers, it was like, hey, well, you know what I mean? We got to do what we got to do. We got to do the best for us. So we picked up 2 months into it, or a month into it, and we left Bishop Moore, and we went to Montverde. And then Montverde was willing to take all of us as me and my older brother and my younger brother. They didn't really get to see my younger brother and my older brother play too much, but and they took all of us, and it was we went to Montverde from there, and we all did very well. Like, it was really cool, really cool experience.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to touch on you. So you talked about Pennsauken and the relationships you built here and how real it was, and then you transitioned to to California, where I mean it's different. Talk about that transition for you. You got to go with your family, obviously. You just talked about, so it wasn't like you were by yourself, but just talk about the transition for you, your brothers, your family.
To Florida, it was slow.
Or to Florida, I'm sorry.
Yeah, to Florida, it was slow. So when we first moved to Bishop Moore, it was like we didn't really make friends. Like, it was hard for us to make friends because of the environment. I don't even know how to explain it, but like the first 2 months, I said more than like 10 words to somebody. Right. And I'm not really a quiet person like that, but it was just the way it was, the way we moved so quick. We didn't really want to move from Jersey to start off with. So it wasn't easy for us to make friends at first until we actually moved to Montverde. And at Montverde, when I was doing there, those kids from 52 different countries. So from all over Asia, Africa, South America, everywhere. Those kids from everywhere, and it made us feel more welcome because we weren't the outsiders. You know what I mean? Everybody was different, and everybody wanted to know more about the next person. So that's what made it like easier for us to transition. And I wouldn't even, the relationships I built at Montverde aren't anything like any other relationships I built, no matter where I am in this country, because you're dealing with Europeans and Asians, and they take relationships differently than like how we do. You know what I mean? I still have those same relationships now. I'm 27 that I built.
That's crazy.
In high school. Yeah, I can hit any one of them up and they'll still act like, you know what I mean? So it's cool. But yeah, my Florida's different though. Florida's different than Jersey. Yeah, for sure.
So
would you? Oh, my fault. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
These are boarding schools, correct?
The school I went to, Montverde, was a boarding school. Bishop Moore is not a boarding school.
Okay.
So Bishop Moore was just like a rich kid school,
like a private school
with a good baseball team, and they wanted me to play real bad there, and it just wasn't going to work out.
So can you explain a little bit this concept of boarding school? Because I feel like it's kind of where we live. It's kind of like a foreign. Like, we don't really have them around here, I don't think. Or not that many of them. Like, they're not big.
Not that I'm
here.
aware of. Yeah.
So there's places for the kids to live on the campus. So there's like buildings that the kids live in, and they're separated from girls and boys, and there's dorms just like college would be. But these kids are from different countries. The one I went to is international boarding school. So when people send their kids to a different country, there's not really a place for them to live at anyway. They don't really have houses in America or whatnot, so they had to. That's the accommodations. You know what I mean? You find places for them to live on campus, and that's what makes it a boarding school. Is people coming from, not just from in-state, from everywhere, and getting education there.
And the boarding school education would differ from like a Catholic school education in terms of like curriculum. Like, is it even higher in academia than like a really good Catholic
school? It's a private school, so private schools all have their own agenda.
Yeah.
So public school will run off of whatever the state says, and the private school gets to kind of like do what they want
to do
to an extent. You know what I mean? It's not like they can just teach you whatever they want, but they have more leniency as far as they can go. You know what I mean?
So where I'm leaning with that is, let's say an American family sends their kid there. I guess what I'm leaning is like, what would be the benefit of, let's say like I live in Jersey, but I want to send my kid to Montverde, right? Mm-hmm. What would be the difference in me just saying, I'll just send you to like the best Catholic school in Florida? You know what I'm saying? Or like,
so what I remember, the credentials for teachers to actually teach at Montverde were like you have to have your master's in teaching. So you couldn't just come right out of college and just go to Montverde. These are all
snag a job.
Yeah, these are all really established like professors, and it felt like you were going to college. You weren't in college.
Mm.
So these professors or the teachers, they took their job very seriously, and if you failed, you failed. You paid to go there. You know what I mean? They were getting paid to teach. So if you didn't fail and you couldn't be there, you just got kicked out and you went to public school down the street. You know what I mean? So it wasn't. Yeah. The teachers weren't really on you to do your work. It's either you do it or you don't.
Like college.
Right? Like college. It's college prep school. So I mean, shit, it wasn't, and there was no missing school. Like there was no skipping school. There was not skipping class.
Really?
Everybody in school at Montverde was there to learn and there to get to the next step. Like for me, for example, I was probably one of the only ones that like messed around and fucked around, like did other things. Like I would smoke weed and mess around. I mean, outside of school, but most kids in school, they looked at me like I was different because they were there to go to school. So it's like if I miss one class or miss one day, it's like you're missing a week in a public school. Like it's so hard to catch up at Montverde. It's 100% acceptance rate into college. So if you didn't get accepted into college, you were frowned upon. You know what I mean? You needed to go to college. Yeah, 100%. No, not 99, not 90, 100% acceptance rate. Yeah. Nobody drops out. Nobody leaves. Nobody skips school. So for me, like, I got injured and I had like during lunch I would go and like go to see my physical therapist. They allowed me to do that, and I was like I had freedom because I got to go to my physical therapist during school. Yeah.
What are these hours like? What's a school day at Montverde like?
Well, we started at regular hours. It's just that if you are a boarding student, you had a curriculum after school too. So like you had to go to, they ate dinner every day at the cafeteria hall. They had to do homework every day. If you weren't a boarding student, if you weren't a sports, into sports. Now, if you played sports, all you did was go to school, and then right after school, you walk right to your field or your court or wherever you're going, and you start from there. There's no in between. You have 10 minutes to walk from your last class to your sport, and because the campus was so big, it took about 10 minutes to walk to your sport.
So there's no in between.
There's no in between. If you think you're gonna sit and talk to a girl real quick and chit chat and do that, it wasn't happening. And if you showed up to practice late, you had to pay for it. So everybody took it was serious. It was like everybody took it more seriously. Obviously it's not as serious as we are as adults. We're still kids, right? But it was compared to the public schools that were around, it was a more serious situation than just going to school.
That's where they try and instill that discipline in you early. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Discipline,
and,
routine, all that.
Well, they are responsible for so once the kids get from a different city or a different country, they're responsible for that child.
Yeah.
That child just can't go do whatever the hell they want. They
Right.
can't
You
just go
took
to
them
the
away from
mall.
their home.
Right.
Well, they signed up for it, but like they had trips. Like every weekend they had scheduled trips. Like we're all going to the mall at this time for this many hours, and then at this time we're all getting on the bus and going right back to the dorm. So they took them to certain trips every weekend to give them entertainment, but it wasn't a free for all. So it's like I said, it's more serious. And at lunch, you go hang out at your friend's house and then come back. Like, nah, there was none of that. There was none of that. And then sports, if you weren't performing, you didn't perform, you didn't play. If you didn't play, then you weren't going to school there. So they find a way for you to get out of there real quick. And that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me my junior year. I was dating the headmaster's daughter. Shout out Kaylin, if you ever hear this. I was dating her for 3 years, and it went south. It just went south. It wasn't going well. And a little bit of like my mom turned in paperwork a little late, you know what I mean, which is not it's not, you know what I mean, it's not nothing big, but
unusual. Yeah,
he
nothing
used
to
that
happen.
against us to basically tell us we weren't allowed back in school. And my older brother had already graduated, so it was just really me and my younger brother. I wasn't allowed back into the school for senior year. So at
Are you
7,
serious?
yeah, so 17, people, I've told this story before. People would tell me I could have like took it to court and whatnot. But just not type. I'm not that type of person. Like you know what I mean. Tell me I can't be somewhere, I'm not gonna be there. That's it. I'm gonna keep on going.
Yeah.
So at 17, I was 17 or at 16. I really found out. So at 17, I told my parents I always wanted to play baseball on the West Coast. Like I was good at the sport. I was getting recruited from schools in the East Coast, University of Delaware, the Navy, UNC, Maryland, West Virginia. A lot of schools, they really wanted me to go there. They kept sending me information, but I was kind of like, nah, I want to be in the West Coast. So let's try that first. If that doesn't work, I can always come back to the East Coast. And 2 weeks before, so I ended up getting a look. So in California, a lot of schools don't look outside of like California. They stay in California, especially for baseball. There's a lot of talent out there. So I finally got a look, and it was from UC Irvine, and they gave me a tryout, and I was supposed to go out there and try out. And 2 weeks before the tryout, I got hurt, my back, and I ended up with an injury that like the doctor told me you're not supposed to have to you like later on in life. Like I ended up with a herniated disc in my L4, L5, and a pinched sciatic nerve. So he told me either you can't play. If you want to play baseball again, you got to sit out for 2 years. But that's exactly the time I was getting recruited. So I didn't have 2 years. It was like now or never. So that's when I got hurt, and I had to stop playing baseball. And then throughout the year, couldn't play my whole junior year. Couldn't play because of my injury, and that's what basically got me out of the Montverde situation. And I didn't want to go to school in Florida, public school in Florida. I was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do. So I was like, I might as well just move to California.
Was it something about Florida that made you not want to do it, or was it just the fact that I just want to go to the West Coast? So I was like,
I've
anything that's
always
not
wanted to go
that,
to
it's
it.
just okay.
And my mindset. And Florida's too slow for me. Even now, like it's just too slow. I can't deal with like the way they do things. Like even driving on the highway is just too slow. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people are fast out there, but a lot of them are slow. It's a retirement state.
Okay. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to go, and at 17, if you look at the schooling, right, Florida is ranked out of 50 states. Florida's like bottom 5.
In education.
Public school education. That's where I was basically going to public school. I was out of private school going to public school. New Jersey's top 5, right? So coming from New Jersey public school and then going to Florida's private school, I was still ahead of the game because New Jersey's public school is just that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like we're smart out here. Like people in Pennsauken are smart. You know what I mean? Because we have a good school system. We're not dumb. You know what I mean?
Our test scores might say otherwise, but I do think we are smart.
There's
though.
other stuff outside of school that gets you involved. But as far as school goes, people understand the 1s and 2s.
Yeah,
they can get through.
Fendi.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, outside the hood area, now people can't walk the street and be right. You know what I mean? They get caught up in the wrong things, but they still know you know what I mean? They still know the quadratic formula.
Basics.
You
Yeah.
feel me?
Yeah.
You don't get it twisted. Like, so that's why I feel like Pennsauken is so different, or like New Jersey is so different because our school system is up there, but then we have the hood right around the corner. So you get tied up in either or. Like you're about to be a doctor. You came from the same place as me. You know what I mean? Like you're going for your doctorates, whereas like the people we grew up with are in jail for a long time. Like
Type shit.
I can name some people. You know, we're not gonna go there, but like
Yeah.
we all had the same 24 hours, and we all came from the same place, but we decided to do different things. And look at you, like I said, you're about to become a doctor, bro. Like, that shit is crazy.
Not anymore, but yes, I was.
Oh well, he was. Sorry for.
I was trying to do that at one point.
Yeah, it's just he's so the guy next to me is so educated, and he comes from the same place as me, and it's just so diverse and so like real. Like it is what it is, and it ain't nothing different. But yeah, Florida was baseball related, sports, school. Got kicked out of school. Not kicked out, wasn't allowed back into school, and because I didn't want to go to public school in Florida, I saw like the statistics.
Mm-hmm.
Like I might as well just go for my residency in California because I knew residency in California took a lot longer than other states. So I decided. Well, on top of that, I got into a fight with my pops. Still don't talk to him to this day, but we got into which was like the first fight we ever got into, and I was 17, and he wanted me to go do something I didn't want to go do. I told him no, so he came after me. You know what I mean? And it ended up bad. Like, I never hit him, but he hit me. You know, he swung at me. He came after me like like a man. Like, he came at me like a man. You know what I mean? That's the first time somebody actually came at me like a man, and I was like, yeah, it's all about time to get up out of here, right? So at 17, I try to emancipate myself. So if y'all, you know what emancipation is, like,
explain it though for those who don't.
So emancipation is like basically like saying like these are not my parents anymore. Like you don't have parents, and you're not 18 yet. When you become 18, you're automatically emancipated because you're an adult. But I was trying to get emancipated when I was 17 years old, just so I can be on my own, so I can get residency and financial aid and all that stuff in school. But I never went to court for it, so I left at 17, and my dad thought I was emancipated. So my father thought actually that it was an emancipation involved.
Like legally, he thought you were.
Mm-hmm. That's from what I believe, that's what he thought. I'm not sure if that's true because I don't want to talk to him that much. But as far as he knew, like I wasn't really legally his son no more. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. So I moved to Cali, and I was by myself. I moved in with my mom's brother, who had lived there. He convinced me to live out there, to move in with him, especially. So that's how that went. I ended up moving to Cali with him.
And what part of Cali did you jump to?
I thought so when I visited Cali, and when I visited him, he was staying near Santa Monica, area like Playa Vista area. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to Playa Vista or wherever I just visited him at, right? Come to find out, he had got a divorce with the girl he was with, and he moved. Like
she took Santa Monica.
He's a crazy dude. Like he's a crazy dude. Like my uncle, crazy guy. Still to this day, he lives in Spain now, but he moved to Long Beach, didn't tell me nothing, and still had me move in with him, right? And I show up to Cali, and he drive me to the baseball stadium. That's where my apartment was.
God is good, yo.
So it was like it all like just that's my first like experience of California was like dream come true from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like I moved down the street from, and the high school I went to, bro, their home games were played in that stadium. The Cal State Long Beach Stadium.
That's crazy.
They used that school city, so like all like so it was crazy. When I moved to Cali, I didn't plan on playing baseball. I just went there just to live, and I decided like, you know what, second day of school, like I ain't got no friends, nothing like that. Let me try for the baseball team. You know, I mean, I'm hurt, but I'm gonna have my mom sending my shit from Florida. I'm gonna get it cracking. Like I know what I can do. So I told the coach I wanted to play. He laughed at me because they got a lot of talent in Cali. So I was like, yo, I'll do this, that, and the third. And he was like, ha, like just like the ha, like all right, yeah, you can come to try out, like that's cool. We'll come have you try out, and we'll have you have a catch. After you have a catch, I'll know if you made the team. I don't need to see anything else. I was like, oh, okay, word. Like this man don't think I got anything, right? Yeah. So I went to try out, and they already had their team picked. They knew who was on the team, but they had this kid, Chris Betts. He plays professional baseball now. He was a catcher there, but they had him. He was like, "Yo, take this kid out there and go warm him up, and we'll be in here having our routine or whatever in the dugout in the locker room. We'll be out there, you know." So, all right, so I go out there. By the time the coach came out, I was throwing the ball on a line from the foul line all the way to center field on a line, popping the glove, and he came out and he was like from the, he's like, whoa, like that's enough. Like, you don't need to throw no more, right? He's like, go into the cages. So I went to the cages, and he told Chris to me BP, and he's standing behind me. I took maybe 4 swings, and he was like, yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, come on, just come join us at practice. Like,
give him his jersey.
He's good. Yeah, so he really did. I ended up from him laughing at me. That first day I walked in, I started every game that senior year. That's fire. I started second.
Hey man, that's fire. Talk your shit, man. That's fire, bro. That's Jersey, nigga. Yeah,
that's where we come from. Feel me? They can't handle it. I told them too when I got there. I'm like, y'all must start. Like, y'all don't even know where I'm from. Like, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't got it like we do. You know what I mean? Like, we have to fight for something. Like, y'all just think y'all got it. You know, like I'm fighting for this. I'm gonna get it, and it happened. But you know, it was cool. It was cool.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So at this time in your senior year and everything like that, so you're playing, you're starting with them. What's going through your head for like the future? Like after high school, like you're in California, you're living with your family now. Like what is going through your mind on like
I'm
the
not
aspects of
living.
like what's after high school?
So I wasn't living with my family. So back to moving to California. Boom, boom, backtrack. Right. I got
Mm-hmm.
there in end of August, beginning of September, 2 weeks before school started. Right, and I'm gonna bring up my man's Danny. You know Danny, right? V's. Shout out Danny.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
shout
him.
out Danny, my man's. I met him. So, first 2 days of school, I ain't know nobody. Right, I went to school, ate my lunch, ain't do shit, came home. Right, and the third day, I had a little bike my uncle had gave me, and I just drove down the street. I'm riding the bike down the street looking for a blunt. Like, y'all need to smoke a blunt. I got the weed. I don't know where to get the blunt from. I'm 17 years old. Nobody gonna serve me. So I'm riding the bike, and right down the street from my house, this kid's walking across, and I'm like, "You're like," and he turned around. He's like, he's scared of me. Like, "Yo, what's up? What do you want?" And I was like, "Yo, where can I get a blunt at?" And he was like, "Oh, go down there." And he pointed me to like a spot that was like maybe like 6 blocks away. It was like pretty far away. He's like, "Yeah, you can go down there and get a blunt." Basically trying to get me away from him.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So I was like, but the way I acted, I was like, "All right, that's cool." You know what I mean? I got on my bike and I started going like to the spot. And I get down the street and he's like, "Yo, yo, yo." He started calling me. And I'm like, "What's up with you?" Like, so I went back over there and he was like, "Bro, to be honest, you can get a blunt right here at this donut shop that's right next to us." And I was like, "For real?" I was like, "Why didn't you tell me that?" He's like, "Bro, you know what I mean? I know who you
was.
was."
Type shit. Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, where?" Like, "All right, I'm gonna go get this blunt. Do you want to smoke?" And he was like, "I don't have no weed." And I ain't asked that. I was like, "Do you want to smoke?" Right? And he was like, "Yeah." He was still like, where of me? Like, who the fuck is this? And the way we come off in Jersey, like, it's like, "Yo," you know what I mean? Like
It's direct.
Yeah.
Is you
not
already
right.
fried or no? Like,
If you say no, it's no. Keep going. But yeah, come through. You know what I mean? Like, so that's how it was. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll go." And ever since then, me and him been best friends. So I met him third day of school. Crazy that after my birthday, I turned 18. This is in November. I come home from baseball practice one day. And my uncle like, "Yo, let's go to dinner." I'm like, "All right, cool." I set my baseball uniform on. Literally my practice uniform on. We go have dinner at George's. Love George's on 2nd Street. And he's like, "All right, let's go have some normal dinner, normal conversation. Let's go have some yogurt down the street." We're walking on 2nd Street. It's like a strip of like businesses and stuff. "All right, cool. Let's go get some yogurt." And we walk in. I'm not thinking nothing of nothing. He's like, "Yo, sit on this. Sit down real quick." I'm like, "All right." I sit down. He like, "Yeah, you can't live with me no more. Like, I'm kicking you out tonight. Like, you can't stay in my house tonight. You know what I mean? Like, talk to your parents. You can find yourself a hotel. But yeah, like, you're gone tonight." And I looked at him like, "Dude, like, so much things going through my head, but all I could say was like the least you can do is give me fucking boxes from Home Depot. The least you can do is help me pack my shit and so I can have my stuff in the boxes, because I came with 30 pairs of shoes, bro. Like, I'm from Jersey. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, our kick game is crazy. So I came with shoes and clothes, and next thing you know, I'm getting kicked out of a crib on the other side of the country, and both my parents was like, "Figure it out."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you wanted to do this, so do it. Right? My dad was like, "Yeah, you're not allowed back." He said I couldn't get back for 2 years. And then once you leave, you can't get back for 2 years. So I already knew, like, ain't no turning back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here. So I called my uncle was like, "I bought you a flight to Florida." You know what I mean? Like, or we figured out we got a flight to Florida. So you either take the flight to Florida or do whatever the fuck you want. I was like, "Fuck you. Like, I got this far. I'm not going to Florida. Like, you're not anybody to me no more. You know what I mean? I can decide what I want to do. I mean, I'll figure it out." So that was like my first initial thing, right? So then after a couple hours, I'm like, "Fuck, like,
what I'm about to do.
what I'm really about to do. Like, what, like, you know what I mean? I had all this angst and like all this like huff and puff, but like, what am I really about to do?" So I'm like, you know what? Come down to it, I got to move back to Florida, right? That is what it is. So I'll call my boy Danny, and Danny's a fucking baller. By the way, the whole story goes on. Danny's a fucking baller. Danny at this point, he was 16 years old, playing for the LA Galaxy soccer team. He was on their lower team. Danny was a professional soccer player since 14 years old, right? And I just met this kid.
That's
So
crazy.
he was And I called him, and he was at Galaxy practice. He ran off the field. Saw me call him like 5 times, and all I wanted to say was, "Hey, bro, nice to meet you." You know what I mean? Like, we'll stay in contact, but I'm moving to Florida because my uncle kicked me out. And he was like, "Nah, bro, fuck that. Like, get your boxes and meet me in my crib, in my apartment." Wow. I still get choked up from this because, like,
shout out Danny, man.
Yeah, shout out Danny.
Shout out that boy Danny. That's some real shit.
So
Yeah, that's a real one, man.
my uncle, he drove me to the down the street, so where he lived at, like 4 or 5 blocks away, and dropped me off in the alleyway with all my boxes. I had like 6 boxes of stuff. And Danny's family, they live in a 2-bedroom apartment. They still live there. But when I went there, it was his dad. His dad makes over $100,000 a year in the oil field. Illegal at the time. Sleeping on the living room floor. Mom and younger brother were in the other room. Him, his older brother, and the older brother's girlfriend were in the other room. 2-bedroom apartment with 6 people living. The dad, the provider, was living on the floor in the living room like we're in right now. His bed was set up right here. And whenever he went to work in the morning, he'd pick up his bed and go. So there's no room for me. Obviously, it's a full packed house. And they're like, yeah. Danny's like, yeah, move to my house. You come to my house. They cleared their whole closet out just for me to fit my shoes, bro. That's why I said I had 30 pairs of shoes. I had 30 pairs of shoes, and I'm moving into these people's house. They don't even have room for their own stuff, and now they're making room for my shoes. Like, that's what it comes down to, right? So they did all this, and I didn't even ask. He didn't even ask. I just move in, and I'm living there. It happens 2 weeks later on. The dad's like, mind you, the dad wakes up every morning, cooks breakfast, comes home after a 12, 14-hour shift, cooks dinner, goes to sleep, and repeats. Doesn't say a peep about anything. Doesn't complain. He's taking care of his family. That's what he does. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he does. And after 2 weeks, he's like, yo, what's up with this kid? Is he living with us or what? And Danny was like, told him the situation, like, you know what I mean, Kenny, like, the least he can do is ask. You know what I mean? Like, so when I went to go ask him, like, yo, Pop, can I stay here? And he was like, obviously, yeah, like, you can stay here. There's no problem with it at all. And never asked me for a dime, for a single dollar out of my pocket. I told him I'll pay you $400 in rent. When I went to go pay him $400 in rent, he thought it was disrespectful. He said, do not give me that money.
Wow.
Like, you keep that money.
Where's his family from?
Mexico City.
Okay.
Mexico.
It's funny you say that because I feel like I think in the tourist sections they do, but I heard when I went, they took the tip, but I heard that they don't take tips. Like, they think tips are disrespectful.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know
when you go to
about
restaurants
that.
and,
But
like,
they were just, they knew what they were doing for me, and they knew where I came from too. Because mind you, like, my dad's a jeweler. You know what I mean? Like, I don't come from nothing. Yeah. So they understood that I was just in a bad situation, and even though I probably came from more than what they have, they saw me as them, and I saw them as me. Like, we're in the situation together. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't back down from it. They could have told me, like, no, you can't stay here. But they're like, we're gonna do this together, and you know what I mean? That's so still to this day, that's my family. You know what I mean? Like, they're still to this day. So I live with them for 8 months.
That's love.
I wasn't trying to extend my stay there, but as you were asking, as I was living there, my thought, or Bees, you asked, my thought in my head really wasn't about living with my family. Or everything was kind of like in shambles. Like, every day I would go to practice and I would hang out with these kids that were in baseball, and they all had somewhere to go afterwards. You know what I mean? They all had a car to get into. I had a bike called Mr. Squeaky because it squeaked. Like, every pedal was like, I named it Mr. Squeaky just to, like, make fun of it. But that's what my transportation was, either my feet or I was on Mr. Squeaky going around, like, and it was like a different. I had to learn that, like, even though where I come from, like, nobody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? You still got to make a name for yourself. No matter where you go, you're still just a human being doing what you're doing, right? And that was probably like the learning curve for me. When I really became a man was that year. My senior year of high school was tough. You know what I mean? My parents weren't really messing with me that much. I didn't really, like, you know what I mean? I was playing baseball. I didn't have money. I had to do what I had to do to make money. Catching my drift. It wasn't just a walk in the park, to say the least. So, that was the beginning of it. And, you know what I mean? It wasn't much easier from there. You know, it wasn't, people think just because you move somewhere or you want to do something better for yourself, it's automatically given to you. Like life is not given. You know what I mean? You gotta earn that shit.
Gotta work for that shit.
You gotta earn every aspect of it. Like the second you think that something's gonna just be there, it's like the Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So if you don't cross your T's and dot your I's,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Caught slipping.
You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get caught slipping. So that's what I learned at a young age. And Cali, I became it's a long story. I became homeless. I was a drug addict at one point. Yeah, I moved into so after Danny's house, I ended up nobody thought I was gonna graduate. After Danny's house, I graduated, and I moved into this spot with this lady and my friend Gavin. Shout out Gavin. Moved in with Gavin, but I didn't put my name on the lease. The lady was on drugs, but we needed somewhere to live. But within 2 weeks, she started accusing us of stealing her money. So she started saying that we were stealing $100 a day off of her counter or something like that. And I already knew where it was going. I could see how she was going. It was a Spanish kid and a black kid. Gavin's black. A Spanish kid and a black kid living in her house. And she started accusing us of stealing. So I'm like, this is only going to go one way. I'm going to come home from doing something one day and the cops is going to be here. You know what I mean? So I'm not stealing. I know I'm not taking anything from this lady. Like, I don't know what she's doing with it. You know what I mean? I know I'm not doing it. Gavin, pretty sure he wasn't. Also, but it was a weird situation. So I had to leave. I picked up and I went to school. I was going to school. I ended up going to college. Dropped out freshman year, but I was in school and I came home from school one day, packed all my shit into my little Scion, the Scion TC. Packed all my shit into the Scion. I moved to the trap house. I moved right into the trap house in East Long Beach or downtown Long Beach, and I had to get money. It was survival mode from then. Like, I was in school and I finished my first year. My first year, freshman year of school, I finished it. I failed English, but at least I finished my first year of freshman year. Right, I did that at least, but yeah, it was. I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking, but
No,
Yeah.
this is
Nah, bro, you explaining it, yeah, because I kind of asked like an in-depth question, yeah, but yeah, you explaining it,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, this is
it was so from there. Moved. I got kicked out. Moved in Danny. Then I'm on my own, and college starts, and I move into the trap house. I had to make money. So at this point, all my baseball talents were I could still play baseball. Like, don't get me wrong. At that time, I was still, you know what I mean, still getting it in baseball. But
Yeah,
it was nothing that I could have done to provide for myself and play baseball at the same time. With the
at the same
situation
time.
at hand, like California is so expensive to live at, and you just can't live a
Yeah.
regular job and go. You can. Like, I'm not gonna say you can't. You can, but at that time in life, as a kid, I was not going to do that. Like, it was one or the other. So I decided to just survive and make money because everybody on the baseball team wasn't making no money. They were living at home.
Yeah.
So I moved right into the trap house, and that's the first time I was only ever like really ever into weed. Ever. And then when I moved into this trap house is when doors started opening up for me a little bit.
Yeah.
That's when senior year of high school, as the freshman year. I mean that summer is when I tried psychedelics for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Did acid, bad trip first time, love it now. But I was experimenting, and then I moved, like I said, moved to the trap house, and then that's when I got into my experience with like really making money, right? Like making enough money to support, not just making enough money to pay bills, but making enough money to like support you and the person next to you, type of thing. And that's my first time ever kind of doing it because I came in there with my Jersey mindset, like let's get it, you know what I mean? Like by any means necessary. A lot of people out there like lackadaisical, like they just kind of like, oh, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, so the kid who moved me into the trap house, his dad ran the trap house. His dad ran it. His dad lived in a different state, But his dad would only come to Cali just to pick up coke, and then go back out to the state and sell it, right? And he was from whatever I'm not gonna say the state he was in, but whatever state he was in, he was sending us weed to our front door. So every couple of weeks we get a package, and we knew what the package was. It was a package with 2-3 pounds into the weed in a crock pot, right? It got sent, and we just pushed that for a week, and boom, send the money, and then boom, get the next one, and that's how it went. It was all through mail. So his son started becoming addicted to real drugs. So mind you, we're not only selling weed, right? Like, we're not only selling weed in there. But it started off with weed. So, like I said, I'm in college, whatever. His son started getting addicted to methadone. Methadone is what you're coming up with meth. It's like the drug that they wean you off of, like this heroin addiction, right? But he got addicted to that pill. So he started off on his own thing. He was supposed to be running the trap house, but he was doing drugs. So it all turned to me. So now all the money that was owed, all the money that was sent in, coming in and out, had to do with me. And I am who I am, so I would sell my shit. And then he was so fucked up on drugs, people would come for him, and I would sell his shit and give him his money. I never took a dime from him. Yeah. All this shit that I sold for him, he kept all his profits. I was providing his drug addiction, which is probably the worst thing I could have done for him. Because he was making good money off of me, and I wasn't taking any of it. Like, giving it all to him.
Handing him money, basically.
Handing him money because I needed the trap house to keep flowing. Yeah. I needed it just to keep going. Yeah. So that in that same breath, I got into. It was 6 days before my birthday. October 16th, my birthday is October 20th. I got into a car accident, and I was doing nothing wrong, driving home from school, and a dude was on his phone doing something, hit me into oncoming traffic, and it was almost a bad jump, almost real bad. His car is almost died. It was like, it was bad. So, a bad situation. I get out, almost end up in jail because of that situation. I tried to fight the guy that hit me. I was chasing him around, and it was bad. Like, it was real bad. You know what I mean? So that day, it was down the street from my house. So I walked home, and I was not taking no drugs. I was just selling them. And that was the day I was like, yo, I need a Xanax. I need to calm down. And that was the same fucking day I became thoroughly addicted to Xanax. Wow. Crazy addicted to Xanax. So I was relying on Xanax for months to come to that. Wow. You've seen, I visited. You guys probably remember being at the party with me when I brought those boys from Cali. Those 2 boys I was living with. Yeah. You remember that,
yeah.
Them
yeah, I remember.
Boys, them the boys that I was at that moment when I came to here, I was addicted to Xanax. I was popping one and snorting one every day. Every day. I wake up, take one, pop one, boom. So it got real bad, right? It got real bad. Ended up homeless. Homeless with nothing. I still had money in my pocket, but the whole trap house shit went south. Yeah. South. We talked about it earlier. Yeah. There's more in depth about that we won't go into. Yeah, but sure. Yeah. Ended up going south, so I ended up, you know what I mean, by myself. And because of the situation where I brought these boys from Cali to Jersey, what they did in Jersey, I wasn't allowed back in Jersey. My family didn't want me to come back because they were withdrawing on Xanax in my grandfather's house. So everybody saw it as like, you know what I mean? Now Matt's that. And I wasn't. It was just them doing them. Yeah. I wasn't doing that. So, and they said we was in the mall doing something. Next thing you know, somebody from around here is like, yo, if they not gone by Monday, I'm gonna make sure they gone forever type shit. And I was like, bro, come on. Like, we running away from people in Cali right now. We got people in Cali trying to get at us. Yeah. Now we come to Jersey, and now we got this going on. Like, got, you know what I mean? He like, it is what it is. You know, so we had to pick up and leave from Jersey. You know what I mean? Get up out of here. Yeah. When I got back to Cali, that same flight, like that I cut a lot of shit, but basically I got back to Cali, and one of the situations that happened, somebody was trying to get back. So when we did one of our Johns, the guy we did it to knew where we lived at, and I didn't know that. So when we came to Jersey for the week or so, that same guy came to our house trying to kill us. He came to kill us at our house. So he showed up with the kid's mom's dogs. And the person that was watching our house recognized the dogs and was like, hey, the dogs. Well, he's like, oh, yeah, the mom lost the dogs. She's a crackhead. I lost the dogs. I'm here to return them. Open the door. So you let the dogs in. Boom, busting the door. Flipped our shit inside out. Looking for us, trying to find us. Because we had all of our shit going on. But obviously, we weren't there. We're in Jersey. So as we're in Jersey, having somebody tell us, leave or something's going to happen to you, there was something currently happening in Cali that we couldn't go back to. So I fly back to Cali. We land, and the person watching our house didn't even tell us that happened. He didn't even tell us. So I'm on Xanax, you know what I mean? I'm flying back thinking everything cool. We go to the crib, and the crib is just torn the fuck apart. We're like, yo, what the fuck happened? He's like, bro, these dudes came in. They said this and that. Da, 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 da. They knew who you guys were, and they were looking for you. You know what I mean? He had to get up out of there before they hurt him. You know what I mean? He did what he had to do to survive type shit. So couldn't be mad at him about it. But that same night, that's where I had to stay that night. I was living there, so that same night I had I think it was a panic attack or anxiety attack of some sort where I lived in the living room. I have a door for my room. I lived in the living room. My bed was in the living room. All my shit was in the living room. So I was like, if anybody would bust through that door, I was the one that was gonna address the situation. I was the first one. That's what it was. That's who. Yeah. That's the role I played. So, that night, all of a sudden I had like a panic attack, and I woke up in my bed. I was laying down. I shot straight up, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. Couldn't nothing. I was trying to yell for help, and I was grabbing at my sheets and like just going crazy, and I like was trying to yell, but nothing was coming out. So I thought like in my head, like I had just what's it called? Skipped death. Like somebody came to kill me, and I wasn't here. So this is karma. Like immediately, you know what I mean? Like this is it. I thought I was dead. Like in my mind, like I can't breathe. I can't do nothing. Like I'm dying right now. Man. Like so, I threw my head back, and I was like in my head, like if I'm gonna die, at least people gonna find me peaceful, right? Like I want to be laying down. Somebody find me. So I threw my head back, and I thought I was dead. I gave up on life, and I woke up the next morning, and I was just like tap myself, like, yo, is this real? Like, am I really alive right now? And I looked up and I'm like, yo, I don't know if there's God, I don't know who is around, but somebody looking over me, and I need to get up out of this situation like right now. So I woke up and I left. From there, boom, bounced up out of there and changed my whole way of living, the way I saw things, and it was like a near-death experience that got me to that point where now I want to be a man. Like, I don't want to be doing little kid shit, like getting shit that has consequences involved and all that shit. So after that, that's when I had to like really build myself up again from that. Because all I knew was, so mind you, like I said, I had money in my pocket. Don't get me wrong, I had money in my pocket, but I know where to live. I left the house, and now I have nowhere to live. Nobody wants me to live with them because they know who I am. The whole city knows. Like, that kid sells a lot of drugs. You know what I mean? He gets into shit. So don't let him around you. So I had friends, but it was like nobody's like, yeah, you can stay here for the night. Yeah. I had one friend though that let me stay.
Hey, shout out that one friend.
So yeah, there was one person I was cool with. His name is Jake. And Jake comes from a different family. He's from Hawaii, and his family's really, really well off. They're into aerospace. They do aerospace engineering.
Oh, it's like that.
Aerospace engineering. So he's the only one who let me live and stay with him during that time. So when I didn't have a home, he would let me climb into his window, stay for the night, and I had to leave during the day because he had other roommates that he didn't really know. So he was letting me just finesse it that way. And I was living in my car and whatnot. So I told him like, yo, we should move in together. And he was with it. So he was like, all right. I told him I'm gonna go back to Florida for a month, and then I need you to find an apartment. And just FaceTime me, we'll find an apartment, and then I'll move back when it's time to sign the lease and all that. And he did exactly that. He went, he found an apartment, and then it was time to move. I picked back up, and I went back to Cali, and he started his own. That's when I really started like picking up. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get my first job, right? So I
tough.
I get my first job. I start working at a hotel. I'm doing the hotel job. I'm a bellman. I'm doing real good at it and everything. But my roommate started a company for aerospace. He's a super genius, this kid. His name is Jake Mercadante, if you ever want to look him up. He's really, really smart, and he started his own subset of the company, creating these parts for these free satellites that go into space. And we're using a CAD program to build them. But he started the company, had nobody work for him. He had a lot of work. So he went and he was trying to, like, try people out and giving them, like, the crash course and whatnot. People from college, people that he knew, people, you know what I mean, in the field. But nobody, like, could get it. Nobody understood what was going on when he talked. And then I just lived with him. So he saw me as, like, the kid that sold drugs and whatever. But one day he was like, bro, you should try this. And I was like, bro, I don't do that. Like, that's not who I am. Like, I do this, you do that. You know what I mean? We'll leave it like that. And he was like, nah, like, nobody can do this. Like, you might as well give it a shot. Because this person. So, all right, fuck it. I'll try it. You know what I mean? Download it on my computer. Let's give it a shot. And I don't know why I was the one that understood it out of the people that he had tried out. So I caught on faster than the rest of them, but I just did it ass backwards because I'm dyslexic. So everything he was telling me, I was doing it backwards.
Wow.
Yeah. So tell me, like, the alphabet is A, B, C, D. I was saying it's Z through A. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But eventually I learned it, and then I ended up designing satellite parts for this kid out of my house. So I was making really good money for this kid. I quit my job, and at 27 years old, I was an aerospace engineer.
Bro, what?
That's
Hold on. Yeah, we got. I'm so glad you decided to talk about that. Yes, yeah, bro. We got. All right.
Yeah, you gotta write a book, yo. This is crazy,
Yeah, that's
yo.
different. That is different.
So I didn't learn, like, an aerospace engineer goes to school and all that stuff, but my friend is a genius, a true genius, and the process he taught me and the things that he did is just nothing less but genius. And he taught me, and I learned, and I got it. So all the credit really goes to him for creating this opportunity for anybody. But yeah, that it turned around pretty quickly for me. I went from selling coke and Xanax and weed to designing satellite parts, and there's actually, from what I believe, there's 2 satellites that are in space right now orbiting that we have worked on. Yeah. Yep.
Hey,
Bro.
Crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy, bro. That is crazy.
Turns around pretty quick, but yeah. So that was that. Yeah.
And so now, okay, so now you kind of got a piece of success now with this guy, right? Like, you're working with him, you now starting to know what, like, real good legal money feels like, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that transition into you now coming back to Jersey and starting the business? Yeah.
Never really had plans to come to Jersey, bro. Never really had plans to come back. I got up out of here, and that's how I saw it. I mean, I beat the odds. I'm out of here. I don't got to go back. I'll go back and visit, but to stay around, I never really saw it like that. So when I first started, what I learned from then and then continuing, it was just a process. If you have a process and you trust your process, you're going to get through it. You know what I mean? You gotta stay with it. You know what I mean? Just figure out your process. So I applied that to other things in my life, and I tried to start a clothing company, Trippyculture. Started Trippyculture. It didn't do that well. I was more into making the stuff than selling the stuff. But it's because I didn't have a process. There was no process. So as I was getting my feet wet with other businesses and trying to do different things and learning from experience, my dad's a business owner. So my dad was an entrepreneur my whole life. All my friends in California, more or less entrepreneurs as well. So I was learning from all of them. And really, I never was really a successful business owner. Like, I was kind of failing when this all happened. So I really wasn't in, like, the best financial place in my life. Like, I had made money before. I had nothing to show for it. And now it comes to this time where when this all happened, it was during the pandemic. I was working for ADT security systems. So I was just installing security systems in homes and doing the sales process too. So you can make good money doing it, but I just wasn't that good at it. And during the pandemic, I got fired. So I got fired from 2 jobs in a row. actually. I was working in a warehouse, got fired, and then for yelling at a manager because he wasn't doing enough, which is very. Everybody saw my point, but obviously, you know what I mean.
Can't be the one to say it.
You can't do that shit. So you know what I mean. So they kicked me out of there. They told me I couldn't come back. So I went to ADT. My cousin Nick from here got me the job, but it was in Cali. You know what I mean? Hooked me up, got the job, got fired from there.
Do I know your cousin?
Nick Yambo.
Yambo's your cousin?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Blood cousin. Yeah.
Really? Oh, shout out Yambo.
Yeah. Shout out.
Word.
Yambo. Yeah. So that yeah, I was at ADT, got fired, and I was on unemployment like everybody else. I didn't want to do it, but you know what I mean. I was on unemployment at the time, and I was just trying to figure out my next move. And my mom and dad started beefing. And that's what really happened. So my mom and dad, they started going through a divorce, and they're still going through a divorce now. But at that time, it's like any of the parents going through divorce. You kind of stay out of it, let them do what they're doing. You know what I mean? But one side of the, you know what I mean, ended up going pretty ugly. So a car was blown up. My mom's car was blown up in her business, in her parking lot of her business, and that's when I decided, like, yo, it's too much. You know what I mean? Y'all doing too much. So I packed up and I didn't move, but I came to Jersey and I was like, just I'm here. You know what I mean? I'll just be here. I don't want to get a phone call that something happened to my mom and I can't be here. Yeah. So I'm gonna just be here. I'm on unemployment. It's a every time I can be here. So I'm here. I was here, and then as soon as I would leave, I would land, I would hear something happen. So it ended up being like stuff wasn't happening when I was here, and as soon as I leave, stuff would happen. So I was just flying back and forth, back and forth. I would land 2 days in Cali, fly right back to Cali. Jersey. Just be with my mom, like in the store, just, you know what I mean? Just if something were to happen, at least I'm there.
I'm here, yeah.
I'm here. So it got real bad. It was just a lot of stuff going on that end of the spectrum. Like, especially when you, like I said, Jersey's real. Like, if people don't like you, they don't like you. You know what I mean? And they don't hide about it. So it was, we were going through that situation, and we were in Camden. So if this interview ever gets out, or if anybody ever hears this, my dad got pulled in Camden. He's in with the politicians. So I'm in court with my dad right now, right? And I get the same vibe that my mom has gotten the whole time. He has pull, and stuff happens for him in that field, or in that space of like politics and stuff that like just don't happen to anybody, right? So it's kind of hard to continue our business with him just fucking with us, because he can do whatever he wants. He makes a fool out of a lot of people in Camden, the way he does things. So how I saw it was, we got to get the store out of Camden, because the store was in Camden. The jewelry store
under
was
his jurisdiction. Yeah,
under his jurisdiction. They could do whatever they wanted to, right? He was just pulling up, doing what he wanted. You know what I mean? Just a lot of stuff going on. And there was even to this day, in court, he's allowed to do what he wants in Camden. Like, he don't show up to court. It just gets pushed back to another day until we can show up. And when somebody complained about to him, we don't show up for one court case because they didn't give us a date, dismissed. The whole thing is dismissed. Shit is just foul. So I told my mom, like, yo, we can't function in Camden no more. You know what I mean? We can't do this. So where we were at, I drove by where the bodega was, and I went to the bodega one day, and my mom was like, yo, that spot next door is for rent. And I was like, if I buy this bodega, you got to move this store to Pennsauken. And she was like, all right, like, let's do it. But I didn't really know if she was like doing it. But so I go in and start talking to the dude about the bodega. Like, is it for sale? He told me it's for sale. But at the time, I had the money. Like I said, I wasn't in the financial spot to purchase the bodega. I didn't have the upfront capital to purchase it. But after some talking and some deal making, and Harry, thank God to Harry and Chrissy, who owned the spot before me, they gave me the opportunity out of anybody else. And they basically told me, hey, you don't have to put up the money all up front. We'll make a deal with you, right? But this is what we need up front to even get the deal going. I didn't even have that. right? So in the middle of a conversation, so I'm in Jersey at one point, just visiting, or I'm about to do this, and I'm telling, we all know him, Chris Tackett. I'm telling Chris like, yo,
Shout out Chris real quick.
Everybody knows Chris.
Telling Chris
Everybody
like, yo,
That was
I
beautiful.
need I need $10,000, bro. I was like, yo, this is all going down. Basically, I need $10,000 to get everything started. And I wasn't asking him for the money at all. I was just letting him know the situation. And he just cuts me off and was like, when do you need it by? And I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, he's like, bro, I'll go get it for you right now. And I was like, you're joking, bro. Like, he was like, no. I was like, no. Like, you got that money? He was like, yeah, when do you need it by? Like, he was dead serious. Like, I'll give you my money if you need it. If you want to do this, let's do it. And that's the first time anybody had ever given me any kind of, like, hope. Like, I'll give you an opportunity, right? So I was like, bro, that's crazy. Let me try and find somebody else who'll give me, you know what I mean? I don't want you to do the whole thing, but, like, I was never asking, just so you know, I was never asking for anything. I know you're not asking for me. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? I'm giving this to you.
That's the realness in Jersey, man.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. That's why I circled back to it, because, like, the relationships I built here when I was a kid is what is still getting me through.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's tough.
even right now, like, I
Yeah,
met you
full
as a
circle.
kid, like,
That's tough.
it come full circle. So what I wrote right there, like, no matter where you go, never forget where you come from. Like, it's still gonna come full circle. It's still gonna all come full circle.
I fuck with
That's
that,
beautiful,
bro.
man.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful,
Word
bro.
up.
That you gotta write a book. Yo, it's
High key,
crazy,
bro. You need to write a memoir.
Like,
High key.
seriously, man, this is crazy.
So, all right. So you get the money.
Mhm.
You got the store.
Mhm.
What's your headspace like? Are you like, I have no idea how to run this store?
Nah, bro. So
And let me ask you this too: how did you transition from? Because the store in Camden was a jewelry store, right?
Mhm.
Or so then, how did you
We-
transition to a bodega?
we still have a jewelry store.
Okay.
We own the jewelry store next to the bodega too.
Yo,
Shit.
man, come on, man.
Wait.
Come on, man. That's different, bro. So how did that happen, bro? Explain, run that down for us.
So the spot next door was for rent, and my mom wanted to move the store there. And like I said, I told you, I said, Mom, if I buy this spot, I was still living in Cali. I hadn't even moved yet, but I was like, yo, if I buy this spot, you got to move the store, the jewelry store, to this spot. Start a new one. And she was like kind of hesitant because all our business is over there. But we're both taking leaps of faith at the same time. Like, yo, I'm moving from a different state because I want to make sure you're okay, right? That's just the main reason I'm in Jersey, to take care of my family, and that's it. You know what I mean? I didn't come here to make no type of money. I ain't come here to impress nobody or prove anything to anybody. I came here to be my mom, make sure my mom was good. This all transpired from that simple act of me just wanting to be with my mom. It all just kind of just snowballed.
Wow.
And, like, I'm just going with the flow. You know what I mean? Like, I never asked for any of this, and I never expected any of it, but I'm kind of just, like, taking it day by day and just going through it. You know what I mean? Just taking it as it is.
So now the bodega's been up and running. So you said you own the jewelry store and the bodega. Was the jewelry store the main focus, and then you kind of went to the bodega? Is that how it, like, what was that going on?
Yeah,
situation like?
Our bread and butter is definitely the jewelry store. We saw the jewelry store as, like, that's our
The
thing.
one.
Like, that's what we need to focus on, and that's why I got into jewelry, and that's why I do, like, the custom. I got into the GIA, certified gemologist, and wanted to learn the custom thing, did the 3D printing, and I've already know CAD from doing the aerospace engineering, so it kind of all ties in. And, so now that's why I help. So my mom, like, the way that the jewelry is going nowadays, people want custom pieces, so let's start doing something different rather than just selling these little pieces of jewelry in Camden, right? This is the whole idea. It's not my idea. This is the idea of the team, right? We're gonna move to Pennsauken, and we're just gonna get different customers. Like, that's really what we're gonna bank on, is getting different customers, providing different pieces of jewelry that people can afford around here rather than just in the hood. And that was the basis of it, and really getting away from the situation. People were harassing my mom every day, like little kids, underage, coming yelling at her, and it's nothing you can do about that. Like, it's little kids, like, you can't. But you know what I mean. So we got up out of there, and when she moved over there, I bought the spot first, and then she moved after me. But it took a lot longer It's a lot harder to move that jewelry store than it is to just buy a bodega. I tell you that.
Really?
Oh my God, yes it is. It's like I bought a turnkey, right? So even though the business wasn't doing as well as it is now, it was still a functioning business. It was still, you know what I mean? Had product and it's still. Yeah. So I bought a turnkey business and made it into my own, right? Whereas my mom kind of like started from the bottom again. She still had her customer base in Camden, but it's like it's your own idea, mm-hmm. Right? Like there's not any other jewelry store in Pennsauken, really. So it's like she had to go through zoning. She had to go through a lot of other hoops and to be allowed to put a jewelry store there where I just had all I had to do was have the money up front. Yeah. Right? So it's like it was a lot harder for her to do what she did and do what I did as far as the moving process. Yeah. For sure.
So now, so the bodega was there. You kind of bought it, and I guess like all the product in it, I guess, like or most of the product that was there.
I bought it as is. Yep.
Okay.
As is.
Fire. Yeah. Okay.
Bought it as is.
Bro, and now a year later, you got a staple spot in your hometown.
Yeah. On one of the staple streets and
on on the main street, son.
On the main street, bro.
Come on, man. Bro, it's crazy because why we wanted you to talk about like kind of like where you came from and like your stories, because like, bro, that's the epitome of like get it out the mud yourself. You feel what I'm saying? And like, not even just that, bro, but it's like the mindset that has to happen, like the shift in mind that has to happen for you to even get there. You feel what I'm saying? You could have easily like, some people sink that low and then their mindset kind of stays there. You know what I'm saying? Now they're just, that's just the world now. That's how they survive. I feel like to be able to change your mindset to now becoming a legal functioning, tax paying, you feel what I'm saying? Like store owner, bro. Like, you feel me? That's different, bro. That's different.
I appreciate it.
You're serving the community. Like you're doing a lot of shit to just make sure you give back, bro. Like, I mean, even the little shit like just being open till y'all stay open till like 2, right?
Some nights, yeah, was 2. Yeah.
Like you can't find nowhere around Pennsauken that's open and late. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Not at all.
Doing shit that other people are not willing to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's a great job, man.
Jeez, man.
I love being able to get back to somewhere that I'm from and give my all because I feel like it's worth it. It's worth it. Like for the people that I grew up with, that I know, and it's the kids that I see myself in these kids that come in every day. You know what I mean? I try to talk to them and like, you know what I mean? Let them know like you're not the only one that's going through the situation, right? Like you can make it. And, you know, you're good. Like it may not seem so right now, but just keep your head on straight, keep your morals intact. And don't switch up. Don't switch up for nobody. No matter who's in the room, or it could be the president in the room. I'm gonna be the same person as if he wasn't in there. Like I'm not going to change for nobody now. But finding that person that can be successful, finding that within yourself, finding that person that can go to any place and be that. That's what you gotta learn. You know what I mean? That's the growing process. That's the grind. Like you are your grind. Like, you are what you just did. Like, that's who you are. So, you can't deny that shit.
Gems for your ass, boy.
Yeah. And then earlier you mentioned, though, when we were doing the layup lines, like, you would rather go through the grind than, you know, the end result. So for the people out there that go through tough things currently inside of their life or things like that, like, what is one thing that you can advise them or just, like, a little bit of advice about just not quitting?
No matter, it sounds so cliche, right? But being consistent and just believing in yourself, right? It's like no matter what advice somebody gives to you, right? I have to wake up tomorrow and be Matthew, right? Like no matter what Steve tells me today, I have to make a decision to do that, or I have to make my decision, right? So be true to yourself, right? Like I said before, don't switch up for anything, and just stay consistent with that. Stay consistent. That's really what it's all about. Is you can start something and not be good at it, but if you stay consistent, eventually somebody's gonna notice. If you keep jumping from this to that and this to that, like nobody really takes you seriously. But just because you're riding the wave or riding the fad of the time doesn't mean that shit's gonna last. So being able to grind through it, like picking something that you know you can do well, or finding your strengths in life and just staying true to it, no matter what anybody else has to say, whether you play baseball or, you know what I mean, you make clothes or you do podcasts, or it doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. You give your all. You take every opportunity to the fullest, and you're going to get something out of it. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's forever, bro. Like, nothing's forever. So you're not going to be doing this forever. So that's why you make the most out of it while you're here, because it's not forever.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, like, what's something that you because Chris made a good point. I was talking to Chris one day, and he was like, it's so much easier to be a 9-to-5er than it is to be an entrepreneur. Like, he was like, so many people glorify being an entrepreneur. It was like, you truly don't have what it takes to be that. So you can just be a 9-to-5er type shit, you feel me? What do you use for motivation on days where you, because like I said, bro, you open early, you're open till 2 sometimes. There's times when you don't want to do that. There's times where I don't want to be in here till 2 a.m. There's times I want to go home and watch a movie with Pam. You know what I'm saying? Or like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to call this order in. I don't want to pick this box up from down. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the case, whatever it is, you have your own struggles. But like, are you resorting back to in thought your past life as motivation to keep you going? Like, is that the thing that's?
Yeah, I don't want.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that again. Like, I'm scared of being regular, and I'm not saying regular is in like doing like 9 to 5 is regular to me. I'm scared of that. Like, definitely scared of just doing the regular shit. I'd rather die. I'd rather sit in this jail cell than doing 9 to 5, and that's just me.
That's crazy.
That really is just me. Like, that's who I am. So, yeah, kill me before you give me 9 to 5. I swear.
Word.
That's what it comes down to. Like, if you're not taking that serious, you're just gonna fall into the other. When something else when the shit get hard, you're gonna go to the easy. But like, this is what I want to. This is really what I want to do. Like, I really want to work for myself. Or like, I want to provide something to help other people. And that's another thing too. Like, do it for the right reasons. Do it for the right reasons. Because like I said, this all transpired for me just from trying to be around my mom. I was just trying to help my mom out for the good. I wasn't trying to make money. I wasn't trying to do anything other than help, and it all comes from that. So just stay true and do what you gotta do. Take care of what you gotta take care of when it's there, and you know what I mean. Life's gonna come full circle for you.
Hey man,
There it is, ladies and gents.
bro.
There it is.
We want to thank you, bro, for sitting down with us, bro. We want to thank you for the gems that you gave, bro. We want to thank you for your friendship, bro. We want to thank you for the whole 9, bro. Damn, they gonna have to sit with this one.
Yeah, man, it's
They
gonna
gonna
be.
have to sit with this one.
Yeah,
Man,
it's different.
bro. In case you don't know, bro, you're Pennsauken, your hometown, your friends, they're all proud of you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely,
We
absolutely,
respect you,
absolutely,
what you do,
absolutely.
Very, bro, very proud.
Hey, man.
Thank you guys for having me. No, for real.
Yeah, no.
For sure, bro.
I was nervous coming on.
Yeah, no
here,
doubt.
Nah.
yeah, y'all made it easier for me. That's for sure.
Thank you for telling your story, bro. We appreciate that, bro.
I want y'all to keep
Crazy, man.
going.
It's a blessing, man. Thank you.
I hope the best for y'all too.
Appreciate
I really do.
Thank you, bro.
Likewise.
Thank you,
Likewise.
bro. Listen, man.
I'll be by the bodega to grab an EKC platter for sure.
Yo, I need that, bro. I'm tired of seeing it on the story, bro.
Sure.
I'm tired of seeing it on the story.
Yeah, no, come through. We open 7 days a week. Y'all come through.
Yeah.
Plug that.
Y'all bodegas don't do that.
Yeah, 7 days a week. We open at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Stay
10 p.m.
tuned. 10 p.m. Sorry. Yeah. Stay tuned on Instagram to keep up any updates of food, like any new food on the menu. If we're staying open till 2 a.m. that night, just stay in tune with us. You know what I mean? We're going to keep rocking. We got some stuff, hopefully, coming up. We're going to get the community together. We tried to do an Earth Day cleanup one day. It was cool, but we got some stuff in the works, hopefully, that we're going to get everybody together and make sure, get more community
For sure.
oriented. You know what I mean? We got to take care
Yeah,
of
let us know. We could broadcast it, bro. Let us know. We could broadcast that information and everything. Yeah.
And that's the Bodega 856 on Instagram. Y'all on TikTok too, I believe.
Yeah.
The Bodega 856. So yeah, the Bodega 856 is that tag. So look out for that.
Yeah.
Yo, are you gonna be? I can't wait till Matt is like the older bodega owner. And everybody calling Poppy.
Right.
Yo, Pop. Listen, man, I am one of your amazing hosts, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. My name is Steven. I go by Ugly Steven on Instagram.
It's your boy, I Robinson03_ all platforms.
And it's your boy B's on everything, man.
And we got Korean Say _ behind the camera. And we got the Bodega 856 on Instagram, TikTok. Till next time, y'all.
Appreciate y'all.
This Side of Jersey podcast.
Okay.